Welcome to Land Academy. This is the Cash Flow from Land show, where we show you how to buy unwanted vacant land and sell it for more on the internet. I'm Steve Butala.
I'm Jill DeWit.
We are your hosts. With over 15,000 completed transactions, we are the experts in this niche land flipping business.
We hold a drawing to win a free property every month. Enter to win by reviewing this show on iTunes and downloading our free ebook at landacademy.com. All right, let's get this show started.
That's Jack Butala for Land Academy. Welcome to our Cash Flow from Land show. We show you how to buy property for half of what it's worth and resell it the next day. Great information and instruction from Jack, that's me.
And inspiration from Jill, that's me.
Here's some funny stuff that happened to us recently.
Okay, I have to share this. I never thought I would see the day where a grown man
this is a Steve
was
roast.
Walking around. No, it's a good thing though. More excited than a kid on Christmas.
Oh, because I'm buying a motorcycle today.
Yes, that's why. You last night, about every 3 to 5 minutes, would blurt out, "I'm getting a motorcycle tomorrow. I'm getting a motorcycle tomorrow." You have clearly missed that, and I think it's cool. I just had to share that because you are so darn excited, and I haven't seen you this excited about something like that. So it's really
I used to non-professionally race super bikes, those cafe racers, and then that, like it should, the switch flipped in my head to like protect myself and my family and be a grown-up. So that happened for lots and lots of years, and Jill and I have been going back and forth to Los Angeles, from Scottsdale to Los Angeles. And I'm sick of the traffic. So I decided to get a scooter, which became a Quest. And guess what? I found a new one that's used with like 130 miles on it that they don't even make anymore. It's super powerful.
Yep.
For half price.
Gee, imagine that.
Jill and I don't have this company just because it's a cool headline.
Exactly.
We live this.
This is how we roll.
We buy stuff
sure.
for half, or we don't do it at all.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I'm
kind of sad.
Excited. Why? What?
I don't know. Maybe there's just something wrong with that.
No, it's not.
When's the last time you paid full price for anything?
I do it all the time. Look at my necklace.
Did you pay full price for
I
that?
did pay full price.
Okay.
Well, I should say, I saw it in the store. This is funny. I did see it in the store, and they didn't have it in sterling silver. So I came home and ordered it on Amazon. Probably about the same price, but I wanted to get the sterling silver.
It's the outline of the state of California.
It is. But I'll give you another example. We were in a store last night, and you picked up some things, and you go, "I didn't even look at how much that costs." So sometimes we do. It depends on what it is.
Yeah.
So
it's a disease, but it hasn't taken over our life completely.
You're so funny.
So in this episode, Jill and I talk about 3 reasons why your REI career may be at a standstill, because we're here to help. Jill, great show today. Before we start, let's take a question posted by one of our members on SuccessPlancom, our free online community.
Kevin wrote, "Should I include landowners associations in my mailer? If the LOA shows up as an owner, does it mean they have taken over the property, or does it mean it's just a common area for all landowners to use?"
See, this again, and I'm going to answer the question in a second. I remember when Kevin called here and said, "This is not going to work. There's no way. You guys need to convince me." This is about 3-4 months ago. 3 months
More
ago.
than that. I think it was longer than that.
He's obviously sent mailers out. He's obviously buying and selling property. Mm-hmm. And he's got an extremely sophisticated and intelligent question. Mm-hmm. And he's got the mindset where he's adjusting as he goes, and he might want to include these associations in his mailers or not. So he's going to ask me and the rest of our group what our take is on it and save a bunch of time and money. Mm-hmm. So this is exactly how this should all work. Yeah, Kevin, I would include associations in your mailer for sure. And I wouldn't, typically when you look at a list of all the property in an area that you'd identified as buying it cheap, the HOA or the LOA, they're going to own not one lot or 10 lots, but lots. They're going to own a ton of them. So to directly answer your question, yes, you should include them, but don't spend 50 cents a lot, combine them or send them one letter and say, "I know you have a ton of properties here. What's the deal? Can I buy them directly from you?" So, and then the second part of the question is does it mean that they've taken them back, or does it mean that it's a common area? It's both. Some landowners associations, that's their business model. Mm-hmm. they take property back and resell it for more. Some of them just sell it at cost. Jill and I have done many, probably thousands of transactions with land ownership associations. A lot of people really can't really avoid that. I don't agree with that. I think it's a great relationship to establish, and you can go back to the well as long as you want.
That's what I love too. You can once they reach back out to you and you maybe figure out that this is a good property you like and the right price, you could say, all right, now let's talk about 10. What if I buy 10? And they'll negotiate with you.
Yeah.
And when you buy them, you start with a clean slate, as far as fees and all that goes. They'll say, all right, great, you're taking this off my hands.
Right.
It's a beautiful relationship that you can develop. So,
and then the final part of the question is it common area property? Stuff that when it gets subdivided, it might be around the office we call them slivers. So is it a sliver property? Like, is it a drainage ditch? Is it an easement? Sometimes you'll see road in subdivisions. You'll see the actual roads that have an APN, and then everybody's first reaction is to throw that away. And I don't understand that. So let me tell you a really quick story. I purchased a property on accident in Southern California one time that was under power lines. So there's power lines running all over the place because whatever the power source is that are delivering to these cities, it's way out in the middle of the desert, whether it's a coal plant or nuclear plant or whatever. And well, it's not nuclear in the middle. Sometimes nuclear plants are close to the water, but anyway, coal plants are in the middle of the desert, and so they've got these really high powered wires delivering electricity to the cities, and all the property that's under those, not all, but many parcels under those properties are subdivided, and nobody wants them. So I bought a piece of property like that on accident in a group of properties a lot of years ago, and an engineer came to me and said, "Oh, this isn't going to be a mess because there's these power lines." Well, guess what happened? We posted it and we said, "Hey, this is an awesome area property under power lines. You have to fully disclose what we did, and you know the rest of the story." Some guys that love to rip it up on the weekend with motorcycles and dirt bikes and stuff, they bought a huge piece of acreage property under some power lines, and they're having a blast with it for next to nothing. So there's always people that, as crazy as you might think these properties are, there's always people that want it.
Exactly.
If you have a question or you want to be on the show, call 800-725-8816 and don't be Eeyore about it. 3 reasons why your REI career may be at a standstill. This is the meat of the show. I listed 3, but I bet Jill can come up with 32 more.
We'll go with your 3 because I like your 3. 3 there. That's a good number.
The phrase that I hear a lot lately, and it never comes out of my mouth or Jill's, but people come to us and say, "I'm in analysis paralysis." They're usually pre-members. What they're asking us, I think, is, "Get me out of analysis paralysis. I've looked at your stuff. I've looked at everybody else's stuff, and I just can't make a decision about which path to go down."
Exactly.
That's why your career's failing.
Exactly.
Or at a standstill, I should say.
They need a kick or something sometimes.
Make a decision.
Yeah.
Make a commitment. Make a decision. What's the worst thing that can happen?
Right.
You spend a little bit of money on some education, that you didn't fully want to use. Is that really a bad thing? You got more education and then found out that you didn't want to do it, which never happens, by the way. But I mean, if that's what you're afraid of, that's silly.
Isn't it funny? There's some people that come to us and they're, 3 days into it and they're like, whoa, ready to go kind of thing. And there's some people that are 3 years into it, researching this and stuff. And it's tough. I feel bad for them. They do a lot. I've been to all these meetings. I've been doing this and that. And I've heard other people talk about this too, that they have people that they've mentored and they just can't go anywhere for some reason. They're stuck.
None of that's as important as the fact that I'm picking up my motorcycle today.
I know that. I'm so glad. So are we listening? We're listing the reasons. Do we want to tell them? Are we telling them how to get out of them or just telling them get out of it?
Analysis paralysis. If somebody comes to us and says that, and I've heard it, honestly, I've heard it probably 5 times in the last 2 weeks. My first reaction to that is, "Oh, so you're a mechanical engineer then?" Or you're an accountant then. Because, those personality types, and we have many engineers, those types of personalities in our group, actually, way more than I think our competitors do, because we're just taking a more brainy approach to this. But they get out of it, and then my concern starts to become, well, if it took you 2 years to get to this point, you haven't made a decision, what's going to happen when you're 2 properties in, and somebody calls you and reads you the riot act about the fact that they got a letter that they think is underpriced. I mean, you have to adjust your attitude to this stuff and chill out about it, and really just take it as it comes.
I agree.
Number 2 of the 3 reasons is stick to the plan.
Yeah.
You know, the whole train comes to a grinding halt in an REI career, and I don't care if you're flipping houses or whatever. If you're putting the cart before the horse, you have to get the right data. You have to get education and get the tools, and then stick on a inspiration / motivation / support network like SuccessPlan to execute this whole thing. So the first, you need education. The single biggest reason I see people fail in real estate really early on is because they wake up in the morning, they decide they want to be a real estate investor, or they know somebody who's driving a Porsche around, and they own a bunch of real estate. And so the first thing they do is go look for real estate to try to find a deal. And they have no idea what a good deal is or a bad deal is. So step 1 is education. I don't care if you get it from us, but you got to get it somewhere. In fact, I would highly suggest you get it from multiple sources so you can decide what path you want to go down.
Exactly.
So stick to the plan. Please don't go out and look for real estate. If you want to get in this business, get education first, and the real estate will come second. And but if you get the right education, the real estate's going to come to you. You won't even have to go out and look at it, and it will be half price by the time it gets to your desk. You want to take number 3, Jill?
Yes. Number 3, I love this. Hurdles become roadblocks. Don't let that happen to you. I see that sometimes. People get hung up on a detail. You know, I really do call it I call it a speed bump.
Yeah.
And you say hurdle, and I love that. For me,
speed bumps become roadblocks.
It's a speed bump. You know, big deal. You know, and what's interesting is what are speed bumps for me are, you know, roadblocks for somebody else. And then once we talk through it, they go, "Oh, I guess there is a solution." Yeah, there is. So I guess if you can train yourself to think of everything as a speed bump, don't think of anything as a roadblock, then you will figure it out. You'll get over the speed bump and you'll move right along.
You know, this is a really nice way of saying, be a positive person. When Jill and I started Land Academy not so long ago, it was all technical. If you go back and look at our first education program, which is our bestseller still, you know, it's very technical. I mean, there's some funny stuff in there. Thanks to Jill, she lightens the whole thing up. But it never occurred to me in my male brain that inspiration is part of this, and that keeping a positive attitude and getting through whatever is in front of you at the time to get to the next step is so important. That's why we added inspiration and motivation to all of what we do here now. There are some people that, and unfortunately, I think they get the most attention, who are just walking around, hanging their head, saying, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough.
Exactly.
And gosh darn it, people don't like me.
Exactly. It's funny. But, you know, and I was just thinking too, there's how many, we've had, you know, how many transactions over the years that nobody else would get them done and they would put them aside, but you and I get them done. You know, it's just, and I know sometimes people look at me like, are you crazy? No, I'm going to get it done. You know,
it's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Especially when you have the tools that we provide. You know, in all of our stuff, we provide the exact same tools that Jill and I use every single day. There's no like tricks, or we're not holding anything back. There's no, I heard somebody say that one of our competitors does this secret county list. Here's a list of the secret counties that.
That's hilarious.
Excuse me, that, you know, come on. We don't hold anything back.
No, that is.
We
really
want
funny.
you to succeed.
Yep. So yeah, those are great, Stephen. I'm glad you brought those up. Those are all really good and really big, and I do hear those every day, and see people every day. So you just gotta get past it.
You know, the one that's not on here, and is wrong product type. We get a lot of people that have gone down the road and gotten stung flipping houses.
True.
Like not just flipping them or wholesaling them like we teach, but like cleaning them with, you know, like fixing them up and putting new cabinets in and stuff.
Right. And it wasn't the right thing for them?
Yeah. Let me tell you about that. There's certain people are good at either, for some reason, people are either really good at what we do, which is like bird dogging and finding cheap property, or they're good at like putting new cabinets in and cleaning them up and selling them. For some reason, I've never really seen a good working example of both. I prefer, Jill and I have done this several times, and I prefer to never, ever do it again. If I don't see the inside of a Home Depot ever again in my life, that's going to be fine with me.
That's funny.
So we had a lot of people that come in and understand now that flipping land is the product type for them, and that flipping houses is a lot more work than they thought.
You know what? And you know what? And I was going to piggyback on one thing that you just said too, right there, is if this is not for you, that's okay too. You know, we talk about that all the time, every day. People come to us and they want to do something else. That's great. I'm not going to talk into something you don't want to do. I mean, whatever it is, go do it. So this whole thing about REI, like Steven said, we're talking about the 3 reasons your REI career may be at a standstill. It's not just land, it's anything. You know, go find what sings to you, get educated, and don't stop.
If you wake up in the morning and look over across the bed and that's the wrong person, it's not too late.
Oh my gosh.
If your thing is at a standstill, make some changes.
Oh boy.
This is the if-then segment of the show. If you do X, then Y will happen. If your REI career is at a standstill, there's a reason for that. Then there's a reason for that. Take a look at the time and the reason, professional or personal, where it stopped, where the train stopped, and restart that program right there. Deconstruct it. Take a look at exactly what happened. Maybe your kids need some attention and you had to stop it there. Maybe you couldn't get past the fact that Microsoft Excel is involved in a mail merge. Well, we can address that. Microsoft spends millions and millions and millions of dollars on free education on the internet about how to use their products. And Jill and I have spent a lot of time. So if it's something as simple as that, a simple little, what did you call it? Speed bump. Mm-hmm. Don't make it a roadblock and let it stop the whole thing. Mm-hmm. If you have a question or you want to be on the show, call 800-725-8816. We'd love to hear from you. Jill, we have some inspiration, I bet. My favorite part of the show.
You know what? Today, I was just kind of surfing the internet, and I saw an old Babe Ruth quote, and I thought it was cool. It is, every strike brings me closer to a home run.
Yeah, so that's why. You have to have that attitude. Babe Ruth is perfect for that.
I was trying to find a version of that, and then I thought, okay, Babe Ruth, we all know who that is. I thought that was good. You have to expect it. You have to expect you're going to strike out. It's going to happen, but it is going to get you that much closer to your home run.
Every time we send a mailer out, and truth be told, we haven't sent one out in a while because we've been sending them out for many, many years, decades, and it rains property on us every day here. But every time we send a mailer out, I can set my watch by it. There's a calm before the storm. You know, we get it at the mailbirds done, get it to the printer and the whole thing. And then there's a calm, like about a week. And new people freak out. They're like, it didn't work. Or the printer screwed me. They didn't send it. It's funny. It's actually funny to watch.
Yeah.
And then you get several phone calls from people who are less than pleased about the fact that you think their property is worth half. And that's all funny. We joke around about it in the office, and you should too. And then the mail comes. Mm-hmm. The signed purchase agreements come, and the influx of phone calls come that say, and they all say something like this: you know, I got your offer. I talked to my sister in Massachusetts. We've owned this property for 10 years. We're not going to use it, and you know what? I really don't want to mess with it at all. Yes, I would please like to do the deal, and that's when Jill kicks in, and she makes it a happy, fun experience for these people, Jill and her staff, to complete the transaction. Mm-hmm. So even if there is somebody else that's got another offer on the table, which almost never happens, they choose us and they should choose you because it's a pleasant, fun experience. Mm-hmm. They're not expecting to get top dollar. Mm-mm. When you go buy milk at a convenience store and it's $3 more than if you bought it at Walmart, you accept that. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with real estate.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So thank you.
Great stuff, Jill.
Thank you.
Join us in another episode where Jack and Jill discuss how to use information, that's me,
and inspiration, that's me,
to get just about anything you want for half price.
We use it every day to buy property for half of what it's worth and sell it immediately.
Get there first. Good show, Jill.
Thank you. That was really good.
Babe Ruth, huh?
Yeah, well, it was kind of my mind. So I was looking for something like that. So, it is good to talk about. I mean, I think you and I take it for granted sometimes that part of our success is because we created this and we're pushing forward and we won't stop until we're there. So whatever comes our way, it doesn't matter. We tackle it and move on.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do with everything.
Well, yeah, but I guess my point is,
no, I'm not arguing with you.
It's innately who we are, but everybody can do it. And I have a really good example. Do you remember how we thought, oh no, when all of a sudden PayPal would stop accepting.
That's a great example.
PayPal.
Tell that story.
Okay, so we did so much on eBay years ago. It was like
millions.
It was
like $15 million.
There's actually. Was it more? I think more than that. But yeah, you're right. It's more than $15 million. And I have 2 eBay accounts, and it's really fun because whenever I would sell something on there, and I call them, I go, do me a favor, pull up this account and scroll down. And they go, oh. I go, yeah, I kind of know what I'm talking about here. So anyway, but so we're heavily selling property there. It was going great, and all of a sudden, PayPal decides we're not going to allow real estate transactions. We're like, that was like the brakes came on.
It was an excluded product type.
Yep. And a lot of people, I think, flipped out and realized, okay, well, then I can't sell this.
Right.
Okay, what am I going to do?
That's exactly what happened.
They're dropping off.
Half the competition, it cleaned it out.
Right. And all we're going is, so what? We just got to find another way to take payments. We got this. And we did.
And guess what happened? The processor now is 10 times better than PayPal ever was. Cheaper and faster and way more user-friendly. So almost all the time, those bumps are there for a reason. It's to find a better solution and make it easier.
Well, you know what I think too? Remember we talked about it because this is the after show. I can share this. I'm like, that was awesome because it did weed out a lot of people that can't. So I said, you know what? Our competition was just cut in half because of that. And I'm like, yay! I feel bad for them that they couldn't figure it out, but there's a reason why we are still here.
There is. Because I won't quit, man.
Neither will I.
Let's go buy something for half price today and resell it. Jack and Jill, information and inspiration.
We hold a drawing to win a free property every month. Enter to win by reviewing this show on iTunes and downloading our free ebook at landacademy.com.
If you want to get involved or you need more information about our profitable, niche real estate operation, call 480-467-0359. You just might get Jill at the other end of the line.
landacademy.com. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.